Heading toward the spring game, what have you found out maybe about your team that that you've noticed this spring?
A lot. There's been quite a few guys that played for us that are not playing right now, so you're seeing some new faces out there. I think overall, on offense, defense, and special teams, we're putting in our base stuff. I think the guys done a nice job of that. I think the young guys that are getting reps, that were redshirted, that are getting probably more reps in spring, it's really helped those guys, because right now you're starting to see some experience actually happening out there at practice. And I think just overall, I think our conditioning, as a team, because some of the stuff that we're doing, the practices and all that, has gotten better. I mean, we're not as fatigued through a practice in situational stuff, which you kind of throw at them at the end. They've actually handled that better. Those are some of the things that stood out to me. Overall, every guy technically, or from a technique standpoint, I think has gotten better. All right, we've been working on certain things, and I would say primarily in special teams. I really think that we're doing some good things there. That's just been an area that I've really focused on this spring, watching the competitions that we have, the things that we're teaching. I hope that carries over. We're going to do more in the summertime as well, but that's really an area that I thought has been pretty good so far.
You going steak and hot dogs, or what's on the line?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet. Yeah, we're still just kind of with numbers and all that. We'll still have our 2 teams is what we're going to do. I haven't put anything on it yet, and I think we'll figure that out. We've been doing so much competition stuff, which has been really good, and I think our guys, they like it. You want your guys to like it, so we'll have something on the line. We'll have the 2 teams split up. We're not going to be able to have true 2 teams. It'll be O and D, but we're going to have the first team together against the second team, and we've done that with the Broncos versus Boise State, and let those guys go out there and play. And what I want to see, I want to see them play, but I want to see some situational stuff. I want to see these guys have to operate in some of the certain scenarios that we put them in that have been okay for us. We need to kind of go recreate those in this last spring game, and then play in front of people. They really haven't done that, especially the ones that have been redshirting. They haven't played in front of people for a while, so we hope our crowd's great. They get out there, there's great energy, and those guys have to go out there and perform with another element they haven't had.
Is that practice 15 too? I mean, you guys in the past have had one. Why aren't you doing that differently this year, and how does that change things?
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. The last practice that we used to use was for the kind of the summer. We don't need that anymore. Our guys know how to do that. Brett knows how to run it. Leighton knows how to run it on the defensive side, and I really wanted to come back and have a physical, hard, long practice after spring break. Just to get back and get the mindset of, we took a week off, but we're coming back to work. And those guys, that was our longest practice that we've had. Those guys absolutely attacked it. And to me, that was rewarding, from the fact that those guys were prepared, ready, and their minds were right, and they went out there, and practice was pretty clean, and the effort was there. So we wanted to use another practice. We didn't need that. We felt like at the end we could talk about that type of summer practice, and our corrections. The coaches, I think, from doing it 2 years, it's better just let's just watch the film. We don't need to go back on the field. Let's come back, just watch the film. Let's get right into our evals, and it also gives the coaches one more day of prepping for spring recruiting. Just to not make it so cluttered.
Sorry, what's it like having a guy coming into a 3rd year as a starting quarterback? Like, what are things you think you can do? What are some advantages having a quarterback having started for 2 seasons?
Yeah, well, you can get through some things a little bit quicker as far as the details and some of the install. But I'll be honest with you, every year is different. I think Brett's getting coached harder now than he's ever been coached, as far as just what we want him to do, and he's still got a long ways to go. That, in my opinion, he does. He knows it. He's been around here. There's great things about having experience, but he's still got a long ways to go as far as the things that we want to get done with that position, and the details, and knowing exactly where to go. He's just at a different level than where other guys might be. Well, his level still has to be coached really hard because he's not at the level at some guys we've had here, and so we know that. And we don't sit back and just say he's got it figured out. We're really pushing hard on him, and he's pushing hard on himself, which is making guys around him better. When he elevates his game, the guys around him have to elevate their game. It makes everybody better. And the nice thing is, in the summertime, like we just talked about, he can take those guys, he can operate, he can go run a practice, he can make sure that it's supposed to be, or we're doing the things we're supposed to be doing. and that's where the experience comes in.
You mentioned the fans are going to, be there and see this team in the spring for the first time. Any players maybe that you've been able to see through spring practice that you think the fans will be talking about heading out to the stadium?
Well, I hope all the guys that play. I'm not going to single out one guy. I think they've all done their own things well. But I hope we get a great crowd there, and I hope they see guys flying around and competing, whoever that is, because we're moving guys around in so many different positions. Some of the guys that have played for us and kind of challenging them that way. Not one single guy is just going to stand out, when you're doing things like that. But what should stand out is guys competing and flying around and showing great effort out there. Defense that gets to the football and offense that's playing with a little bit of tempo and executing plays, the special teams portion of it. Hey, we just look fundamentally better, and we just look better, and I think people will see that when they come out and watch.
We're talking about the TV schedule. It's going to come out a little bit later on and find out about that. Is there anything you're hoping to see or not see, or
Yeah, always. The more Saturday games, the better. The less Thursday and Friday games that we play, and that's just, it's not because playing on that day is necessarily bad. It just messes up your schedule, and when you're dealing with your process, and we talk about that a lot, you want it to be as much as it can be the same. You got players that have class. Last year, we've had 5 and 6 non-Saturday games the last 2 seasons, and guys are missing class. They got to come back, take tests. We got to change our schedule, our recovery times. It becomes very difficult to get into a rhythm. And so the less that we have of those, I think we have a Friday game after a bye, fine, that's okay. We're going to come back and have a Thursday game after a Saturday game, tight window. Those are hard. That's a difficult thing. And I think the rest of them will be Saturday games, but we have some 6 o'clock kickoffs, which are good. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully we have one that's going to be an earlier game than that. If we can get a 12:30, 1:30 kickoff, that's probably in late October, November. That's probably one of the best times to go out there and play here. All right, when the sun's out, you got a great crowd, and you're playing at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's pretty awesome.
It seemed like for so long there's an emphasis to get on TV and make money, and basically whether it be playing it on Tuesday or playing it 9:30 at night or whatever it might be. Is that started to shift in any way at all? I don't know. Does the conference ask you guys for any feedback? I thought I remember something saying that that they were going to kind of consider some things going forward.
Yeah, I think every coach would say the same thing. I saw that Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick at Northwestern. Fitzgerald. Yeah, at Northwestern, they were playing a couple Friday games. Well, he had complained about that, like every coach would. You want to have those Saturday games, or they move them back to a Saturday. I don't think any coach is going to sit there and say that we want to have these Thursday and Friday games. They all want to have a Saturday. We all know we need to play on a Thursday or a Friday. Being on TV is extremely important. But at the same time, you're asking for feedback and what's ideal. Yeah, we want to be on TV, but at this time. We want to be on TV, but we want to play on this day. They ask our opinions. That's what we want. And so TV is important, and then also you're thinking about your team and just your process, your coaches. When we played that BYU game and we played on that Thursday, that was one of the most difficult weeks we've had, recovery-wise, prep-wise, and our players, we got it done, but it was a tough week, and for the coaches, maybe even more so for them, just getting off and trying to come back after a late game and preparing. Those guys burned at both ends that week, and that just starts to catch up to you. And so as a head coach, you're thinking about your people, you're thinking about, all right, how do you get them maximized each and every week? Yeah, we want to play on Saturday at noon like everybody else, right?
We talk about
and that's just not the reality, but that is what we all hope for. So every coach is pushing for that, and then kind of luck of the draw. And this year, and if we're not in that 5 or 6 category of non-Saturday games, then that's going to be, because that Fiesta Bowl year we had 2. Mm-hmm. We had 2 non-Saturday games, and they were both back-to-back. They were Friday games, and they were back-to-back. Well, guess what? We were able to stay on a schedule, all right, kind of a normal week, as we call it for us.